Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. Today, the Houston Cougars have lost to Florida 65-63 in the national championship. Yeah, tough loss for Houston today. There's no question of it. That was rough. 65-63, the Cougs blow a double-digit lead. I think over the last 48 hours, what we've seen in Houston sports, not just the Cougs with their comeback against Duke. I've said a couple times over the last 48 hours, change it from Space City to Comeback City, because you saw other Houston teams following the example of the Cougs after their comeback against Duke. After the Cougs came back from down 14 against against Duke. The next day, you saw the Astros down 7-1, come back and win the game 9-7. The same night, last night, the Rockets were down 11 points against the Warriors. I know it was only the first half against Golden State, but the Rockets still come back and won by 10 points and led by 16 at one point. So you saw teams like the Rockets and the Astros following the Cougs' lead after their win against Duke. And then today, the Cougs had their own lead, and it was blown. And even another comeback for the Astros. Here's the weird thing. Astros had a 2-0 deficit today. Came back from that deficit. So another game for a Houston sports team, where a Houston sports team comes back from the deficit, and then they lost 4-3 and lost the game. So that's another comeback for their Houston team in the last couple days, but didn't win. But this was a tough performance. The offense was pitiful towards the end of this game. 3-point shooting was really terrible for both teams, but terrible for the Cougs as well. A 6 for 25 for the Cougs, 6 for 24 for Florida. This is one thing I did predict for the Cougs in this game that I am not surprised at all that they were able to limit to, and that was Walter Clayton's 3-point shooting. That was one of the reasons why I thought the Cougs were going to win this game, because Walter Clayton Jr. is an unbelievable 3-point shooter, and it was surprising to see him not shoot well from three, but that's because the Cougs are really good defending the 3-point shot. And they did a really good job defending Florida with the 3-point shot today. Florida, you limited Florida to 25% 3-point shooting and 6 for 24 from three. But you didn't do a good job of keeping Florida away from the free throw line, as they shot 7 more free throws than you, made 8 more. You didn't do a good job of, with turnovers, although Florida didn't either. But 9 turnovers, which it's not terrible, but there were turnovers at the end of the game that were costing you, and specifically pointing to Emmanuel Sharp, the turnover where I got three turnovers, for example, for you. You have a turnover where Emmanuel Sharp goes off his knee out of bounds. You have the turnover at the end of the I guess they didn't call that a turnover because it wasn't he didn't officially, travel. If he would have touched the ball, it would have been a travel or double dribble. But he didn't, and I don't think it went out of bounds off of Houston. So that wasn't a turnover, but that did lose the Cougs the game. That is a big play. But the play where the ball goes out of bounds off of Sharp, that's a turnover. Or how about the play where Cryer was out of bounds when he was given the ball in the corner? That was another tough one. So the Cougs had the lead there. I want to say the Cougs were up by 1 at that point, and Cryer could have had the chance to extend the lead for the Cougs at that point. So Florida had more turnovers in this game, but the Cougs had costly turnovers in this game. That was another thing. And, offensive rebounding, that was great, but they're going to be great when it comes to that. 3-point shooting was terrible. Actually didn't do a terrible job from three against Duke. And it was really just Cryer that showed up from three. Cryer shot 4 for 11, and getting to LJ Cryer was huge for the Cougs in their win against Duke, but and he took some really nice shots when it came down to his 3-point shots. But I thought there were a lot of dumb shots that he took when there were, when some of his 2-point shots Not his three-point shot. Well, there were some dumb shots he took from three, but he's got good range, so I'm not concerned about him taking threes. But there were some dumb two-pointer shots that he took in this game. Weird shots. I don't even know how to explain it. There were some dumb shots that he took in this game. He shot 6 for 18. So, but if you watch the game, you know what I'm talking about with some of the. There were a couple of floaters he tried, some weird floaters too. Emmanuel Sharp shot 3 for 11. Milos Uzan did not show up in these last two games. Shot 3 for 10 against Duke, but you were able to survive because, you had an amazing game from LJ Cryer. Emmanuel Sharp made some nice shots in that Duke game. You were able to survive against Duke without Milos. Also, Juwan Roberts was better against Duke than he was tonight. So with Roberts being, Roberts playing the way he played against Duke, and Cryer and Sharp definitely playing better against Duke than they did tonight. Uzan not having as a huge impact didn't hurt this Cougs team against Duke, but tonight it did. Shot 2 for 9, 0 for 4 from 3, 6 points, 5 rebounds, and the Cougs just couldn't afford that. Juwan Roberts shot 3 for 13, 8 points, 8 rebounds. Joseph Tugler, it feels like he gets hurt every game. He got hurt twice against Duke. He got hurt in the beginning of the game against Florida. I know he came back later in the game, but shot 2 for 3 in this game, 4 rebounds, 5 points, 2 steals. Nothing against Tugler. I think he's a solid player, but man, he got hurt 3 times in the last 2 games. Javier Francis looked solid off the bench for this Cougs team. Really solid. 8 points, 6 rebounds, 2 blocks. Malik Wilson looks good off the bench. 19 minutes, 4 for 9, 1 for 2 from 3, 9 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. I thought both Wilson and Francis looked great off the bench. But it was other guys that hurt this Cougs team, like Juwan Roberts and Emmanuel Sharp, who really hurt this Cougs team. And honestly, here's my thing on the whole thing where the pump fake, where and that's how Florida's won their last 2 games. I don't remember I forgot the guy's name for Auburn that did the same thing with the pump fake, and the same thing happened against Auburn for Florida. But honestly, here's the whole thing: if Sharp takes the shot, or This is not. A lot of people are talking about if he would have just shot the ball. He could have passed the ball to LJ Cryer. It would have been a hard pass to make, but LJ Cryer, LJ Cryer's to his right. He could have passed the ball to Cryer, but he didn't. But I'll say this: I don't think there is any way he would have made that shot. I am 90% sure Sharp misses that shot, but it is 100 times less embarrassing if Sharp misses the shot instead of what he ended up doing at the end of that game. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this game for the Cougs. It was rough, but you know what? Here's the thing I want to finish off with, because this is important. Let's just be thankful they were at this point. First national championship since 1984. Let's be grateful for what Kelvin Sampson has brought to this team. 9 years ago, this was a guy who became the Cougs head coach. There were people going to Cougs games. His first game as the Cougars head coach, he was begging people to come to the games. He was telling people to come to the games. Look at what this team has turned themselves into. It is incredible. And the fact that they got to the national championship, it's the best they've ever done with Kelvin Sampson. Better than, look, this is what they did, beating that Duke team, coming back against that Duke team, 100% better than their last Final Four trip. Their last Final Four trip, they got killed by Baylor in the Final Four. And in this Final Four trip, they came back against one of the best teams I've ever seen play college basketball in Duke. And they played a great game today. They didn't most of this game today. They didn't finish this game off right. But let's just be thankful that they were there. Because there are 64 teams that make this tournament, and there are only 2 teams and 2 fan bases that get to talk about how they went to the national championship. So that's one thing to think about before you get all upset about this loss. I know it's an upsetting loss, but let's just be proud of this team before we get upset. Let me know your thoughts on this 65-63 loss in the comment section, and peace out, go Cougs.